What's up, everybody? Welcome to RexEngine. I wanted to make a quick tutorial to show you how to replace the animations on the player character in RexEngine. So to start off, I'm going to go to Game Object, create RexEngine, create blank player to give us a blank player template to work with. And if I hit play to test this, we can see that this guy comes with all the default animations. So he can run around, he can jump, he's got a little pistol attack. So what we want to do in this video is replace all of those animations with sprites from Mega Man 8. Because it is not the best Mega Man, but it is definitely the prettiest. So I'm going to look at the player object here, and I'm just going to expand that. I'm going to drill down into sprite holder, jitter holder, sprites, sprite, and this is where the default sprite is kept. So I'm going to replace that with the sprite of Mega Man. And we can see in the inspector, the player has an animator here. And right now this animator, this is really important, this animator is connected to the animator for Booster, the T-Rex. That's the default animations. And so we want to remove that. So I'm just going to click on the little button next to the player controller and set that so there is no animator right now. And then with the animator window open, I'm going to click on Create to start a new animator controller to make this look like Mega Man. So I'm going to save this new animator. Just make a new folder for animation clips really quick. And I'm going to start off with the default animation, which is, it's basically shorthand for the standing animation, where the player character stands and blinks and whatever else. So I'll click on Add Property, and I'll drill down into where the sprite renderer is. And I'm just going to replace these sprites one by one with these Mega Man sprites. Let's test that out really quickly. And so we can see we've got a pretty good default animation now of Mega Man standing there and blinking. I'll go to Create New Clip, and I'll make an animation for jumping. And it'll be the same process. I'm just going to drill down to the sprite renderer. Hit record. And I'm just going to quickly replace all of these with these jumping frames. And if anyone is like a really big Mega Man purist and you're wondering, I did cut out like, I don't know, half of the Mega Man frames from these just because their animations were so good and so fluid that I didn't want to add that kind of time to this video. So these animations are like sort of gimped versions of Mega Man's animations. So we've got our jump animation. I'm going to do an animation for when he's falling. So this plays if you walk off a ledge or after a jump crests and gravity starts taking them back down. The falling animation starts. So exact same process as before. I'll do a new animation for walking. And lastly, I want to give him an animation for when he shoots his pistol. So I'll make an animation and call that shoot. Okay, so now we've created our animations, and the last step in this process is to slot these animations into the player's controller. So the controller governs all of the different states the character can have. So if they're walking, if they're running, if they're jumping, if they're attacking, or actually not attacking, I take that back. Those are governed by attacks themselves. But all of those other states, walking, jumping, standing there, all of those are governed on the controller object here. And in the inspector, we can see all of these have their own components. So there's a component for the moving state, for the jumping state, knockback, crouching, and so on and so forth. And on the Rex controller object itself, it has slots for all of the default animations. It's got default, it's got falling, death, and the idle animation is the one which if you stand there for a while, it'll play that. It's the standstill animation. So if you imagine Sonic impatiently tapping his foot, if the player doesn't move for too long, that goes in the idle animation. So I'm just going to open up the animations folder with all these animations we just created. And I'm just going to drag and drop those into these slots. So the default animation goes in defaults. The falling animation goes in fall. I'm not going to worry about idle or death right now. So I'm just going to unslot idle. Walking. This is the walk animation we just made. And jumping, I'm going to slot the jumping animation we just made. So that slots all of those animations. And now, again, just to reiterate, the really important thing there was that we also slotted this new animator controller we just made into the controller slot on the animator. And that has to be done first for any of these animations we just slotted to play. So the last animation I want to slot is on the projectile attack. So like everything else, attacks have their own animations, and they have different animations you can slot for when you do the attack while you're doing different moves. So there's an animation for if we shoot while we're standing, if we shoot while we're moving, while we're dashing, jumping, climbing, crouching, wall clinging, stair climbing. Any other state you can do that you can attack out of can have its own animation. And for the purposes of this one, I only did the animation for when we're standing and shooting. So I'm just going to drag and drop the shoot animation into the slot. And so at this point, if I did everything right, we should be good to go. If we hit play, all these animations should work. Alright, so we're standing there, we've got our blink animation. If I move left and right, we've got that super fluid looking Mega Man run animation in there. It's kind of a goofy jump animation, but it worked. And we can see that once the jump peaks and he starts to fall, it plays the fall animation. And finally, if I try my blaster, bam, we got it. So that's it. That is setting up player character animations in RexEngine. I hope that was helpful. Feel free to drop me a line if anyone has any questions on anything, and I'll see you guys next time.